My personal perspective on what happened in Five Nights at Freddy's: Security Breach. From the perspective of a super fan, BJ Mayfield Gaming. From the way I experienced Security Breach, the whole night never felt like a simple, kid trapped in a mall, horror game. The deeper I got into the Pizzaplex, the more it felt like I was walking through a glorified cover-up built on top of old Fazbear nightmares. When I first started, waking up as Gregory inside Freddy's green room area, the biggest thing that stood out to me was Freddy himself. He was different from the others immediately. The stage malfunction didn't feel random to me. It felt like the exact moment Freddy became self-aware enough to resist whatever was controlling the other animatronics. As someone who played through every section, that feeling only got stronger. Freddy never once felt like just a gameplay mechanic. He felt like the one genuinely safe presence in the whole building. My experience with Freddy. Playing through the game, Freddy felt like my lifeline. Every time I climbed into his chest cavity to hide, recharge, or sneak past the staff bots, it felt like the game was reinforcing that he was more than just an ally. He was my protection in a place designed to turn every mascot against me. What really sold it for me was upgrading him with the others' parts. When I gave him Chica's voice box, Monty's claws, and Roxy's eyes, it almost felt like I was rebuilding the perfect guardian out of the pieces of the corrupted system. By the end, Freddy felt less like a mascot and more like the only honest soul left in the Pizzaplex. How Chica felt from my playthrough. From my perspective as the player, Chica's sections felt unsettling in a very specific way. She wasn't just hunting me, she felt compulsive, almost trapped in this endless hunger loop. That realization felt sad. Going through the kitchen and trash compactor areas, I got the sense that she represented how broken the Glamrocks really were under the flashy stage personas. When I crushed her in the compactor, it honestly felt brutal. Not just because it was violent, but because the game makes you realize these animatronics are damaged victims too. After taking her voice box, I felt like I had crossed the point of no return. Now survival meant dismantling everyone else. My take on Monty after playing it. Monty was pure chaos from the moment I got into his section. His aggression felt way more intense than Chica's. It felt sorta familiar, and I didn't know why, yet. Running through Monty Golf, dodging his leaps, and hearing him smash through obstacles made him feel like raw hostility. But after playing through the lore notes, I couldn't stop thinking about Bonnie. That made Monty's whole role feel suspicious. So when I caused the catwalk collapse and saw him reduced to crawling, I interpreted it as more than a boss encounter. It felt like the game was showing the violent truth hiding under Fazbear's replacements. My experience with Roxy. Roxy ended up being the most emotional one for me. Actually hearing her talk to herself, hyping herself up while clearly sounding insecure underneath, made her feel strangely human. Then the raceway sequence happens, and slamming into her with the cart was one of those moments where I just sat there like, wow, that was rough. It actually felt wrong. After she loses her eyes, the way she hunts by sound made her section terrifying. But it also made me feel bad for her. Out of all the shattered Glamrocks, Roxy felt the most tragic. Her whole identity was built around being seen as perfect, and the game literally takes her sight away. That felt very intentional. How the daycare felt as a player. The daycare section is still one of the most memorable parts of the game for me. Sun is so energetic and weirdly comforting at first, then the lights go out and everything flips instantly. The moment Moon starts stalking through the play structures, it felt like the game perfectly captured panic. Restoring the generators while hearing him close in was one of the most stressful sequences in the whole playthrough. To me, Sun and Moon felt like a perfect example of how unstable the Pizzaplex systems had become. Even the safe places were split down the middle. My interpretation of Vanessa and Vanny. After finishing multiple endings, I came away convinced that Vanessa is meant to be tragic. At first, while playing, she just seemed like the hostile security guard. But the more I found the hidden content, the more obvious it became that Vanny is the corrupted side of her. That reveal completely changed how I viewed every earlier encounter. Now all of those moments where Vanessa seemed inconsistent made sense. From my player perspective, she isn't the villain in the normal sense. She's another victim of Fazbear's inability to stop Afton's influence from spreading into technology. That's why the Princess Quest ending felt so satisfying. It felt like I was finally undoing the real source of the horror. My experience with Burn Trap. Going underground after 6 AM was the moment the whole game transformed for me. Up until then, it felt like Neon Mall horror. Then suddenly I'm beneath the building in the burned remains of the old pizzeria. That was the moment it clicked for me that the Pizzaplex was literally built on top of unresolved evil. Seeing Burn Trap there, connected to machinery and trying to take control of Freddy, made the entire story feel like the culmination of every previous FNAF game. The blob, the fire damage, the underground ruins, it all screamed legacy horror. As someone who played it, that ending felt less like a boss fight and more like a descent into the franchise's history. My honest player conclusion. After playing through it all, what I personally believe happened is this. I think Gregory was never just a random kid. I think Freddy's awakening was triggered by something deeper. I think Vanessa was trapped under Glitchtrap's influence. I think the Glamrocks were victims of corrupted programming. And I think the entire Pizzaplex was built as a shiny distraction over the literal remains of Fazbear's past. From my perspective as the player, Security Breach feels like a story about peeling back layers of manufactured happiness until all that's left is the rot underneath. By the time the sun comes up, escaping doesn't even feel like the real victory. The real victory is understanding what was hidden there. Honestly, after actually playing it, my strongest feeling was this: the Pizzaplex itself feels haunted by memory, code, and unfinished history, not just ghosts. And this is why it feels familiar. That's what made the experience stick with me.